Hey everyone, it's Lisa Burningham. Today I'm sharing 14 Valentine home decor DIYs and several gift ideas that will be perfect for that special someone. And as always, we'll be creating these for an affordable price. So let's get started. The first gift that we're gonna do is we're gonna make some sock roses. Now, these are so easy to make. I got some socks from the Dollar Tree. One of them was a pink fuzzy sock and the other one had some hearts on it, really cute. And all I did was I took the sock, I folded it in half, and then I rolled it tightly into a circle. So it looked like a rose. And then I got a rubber band and I wrapped it a few times around the circle so it would hold the rose in place and it wouldn't unfray. And then I had my rose. Now to make a stem on it, I'm gonna use some wooden skewers. I'm gonna take that wooden skewer and I'm gonna poke it through the center of the rose. And after that, I'm going to assemble it in my vase. Now my vase is from the Dollar Tree and I'm gonna put some shiny shredded paper inside and then I'm gonna put in my roses. But before I do that, I kind of wanted to add some leaves or something else just to kind of fill the bottom of the rose. So I got some tissue paper. I cut it into some squares and then I took my skewer, poked it through the center of the tissue paper and pulled it up. So it looked like leaves. And I really liked the way it looked when I put everything together into my vase because it made it feel really full and lush. And then the final step was to add some heart picks that I got at the Dollar Tree as well. And they just add some fun sparkle and a lot more interest to the arrangement. If you are looking for something else besides socks, maybe your Valentine doesn't like socks, you could do a washcloth, you could do a shirt, you could just make one large rose, or maybe even a scarf. That would be fun. The good thing is that you can personalize these into whatever fits your Valentine's taste. Gift number 2 is probably my favorite, and it is the cheapest as well. What I did was I made a map. Now this map has some special locations of where me and my husband kind of connected over the years. It has a map of the hospital that we were both born in. We went to the same elementary school together. We actually didn't meet until we went to college. So we met at Utah State University and that is on my map as well. And then we got married close by. So all of these special locations happened within a few mile radius of each other. So what I did was I found a map. Just online, you can find a map for free of almost any location. And all I did was I printed it off. And then I got a piece of paper and I cut out a mat. I got some cardstock, some really pretty cardstock. And I traced out a heart, I cut it out, and it fit perfectly right inside of my frame. And then I stuck the map right back inside of my frame. Now my frame is from the Dollar Tree. I thought it was a really classy frame and I really liked it. And then I added a sweet little ribbon and a mapped to my heart tag. You don't have to do what I've done with my maps. You could choose a location of where you first met, where you got engaged, where you got married. It's another way that you can personalize this gift to your special Valentines. And for only $1, you can't beat the price. Today I'm collaborating with Heidi Sonboul DIY and her Valentine's DIY challenge. I'll leave a link to Heidi's channel as well as a link to the playlist in my description box. Gift number 3 is a mug with a baked on heart design. Now I got this mug at the Dollar Tree and I also got this pen there. Now this is a glass paintbrush marker. It works on glass and it also works on ceramic, and when I saw it I was a little skeptical, but for $1 I thought I'd give it a try. So what I did was I took a heart shape, I cut out a heart just with some paper and I used it as my stencil, and I put it along the handle of the mug and I mimicked that shape onto the mug itself. And then I got my pen and I started to do some dots around the perimeter of the heart. And I put them really close together, that way the heart shape was really well defined. And as I moved away from the heart, I spread out the dots a little bit further from each other. Now, after I was done with my design, the instructions say to bake it for 30 minutes at 160 degrees, which I did. I put it in the oven and I baked it for that long. When I pulled it out, I thought, is this really gonna work? Are those dots really gonna stay on? And so I wiped it and they stayed on awesomely. The dots aren't even raised up at all. It's almost like they just melted into the mug. It's really impressive, and I will definitely be using those again. So to finish off my mug gift, inside I added some shredded paper. I put in a bag of Nestle Treasures, some chocolates, and then I added a little packet of hot cocoa. And then I tied it all together with a "You Warm My Heart" gift tag. Gift number 4 is this Valentine display card holder. Again, I started off with a Dollar Tree frame. I took the glass out of it and I got a piece of stationery. This was a really pretty heart stationery. I liked it a lot, and I cut it to the size of the glass. Then I got some double-sided tape and I adhered it all together. And then I got about a 3-foot segment of twine. I tied the twine in a knot in the back and I wrapped it around the frame several times. I crisscrossed it, but the most important thing is to pull it really tight as you're wrapping, because if it's loose, the cards, when you go to put the cards on it, the cards will kind of drop, they'll weigh it down a little bit. So you want to make sure that you tie it really tightly together. And then when I was done pulling it tight around the frame, I added a knot to the back, a really tight knot, so everything would stay in place. And then I got some cute little clothespins. These are just the cutest little things, little mini ones, and they're perfect for holding my Valentine hearts onto my sign. Now, another thing that you could do instead of just cards is you could put some pictures or some photos. That would be a really fun addition as well. The 5th and final gift is this heart luminary. Now, to make this luminary, you're gonna need a Dollar Tree mason jar. I also got some cardstock. You could use some stationery and a Valentine's theme as well. And then I got some clear shipping labels. The first thing that I did was I measured the height of my jar, which was about 5 inches. Now, I wanted to wrap the paper around the flat part of the jar and not up onto the curved part, so I just needed a 5-inch tall piece. I wanted some light to shine through the paper as well, so I cut a few hearts in the center of the paper. I wanted the light to be diffused, so adding a strip of clear packing label is going to do the trick. I cut out a segment of the clear label large enough to cover my hearts, and next I used some double-sided tape to adhere the paper to the mason jar. You could add a whole bunch of things to the inside of the jar. What I decided to do was I got a string of twinkle lights, just some battery operated lights, and I stuck those in there. You could also add a candle, and you could also put in some candy or whatever else you wanted to put in there. But I really like the way that it ended up looking. At the very end, I decided to add this mesh bow and also a little sign that said, "You light up my life." So these are my 5 final gifts for Valentine's. They were extremely cheap, easy, and I must say really cute and personalized. Just goes to show that you don't have to spend a lot of money to get a great gift to give your special someone for Valentine's. The first arrangement that I'm going to be doing is kind of a non-traditional arrangement. We're going to be using white roses and succulents. Now, when I think about succulents, I don't typically think about Valentine's Day, which makes this arrangement a little more updated and modern. The first thing that I'm going to do is get a container. Now, I have this heart container, it's ceramic, and it's not going to cost me anything, obviously, because I already own it. If you want something that's similar to this, I saw some at the Dollar Tree. They were plastic. They were the same size and shape, so they would be a great substitute. Also, if you want another kind of a substitute, you can just get a chocolate box. Just empty out the chocolates. That wouldn't be a hard thing to do, right? Everybody loves chocolates. And then you're left with an empty container that would be a great substitute. Inside my container, I cut some floral foam to fit. I just got a knife and I cut it into the shape of the heart and I put it inside, and then I got some floral pins and I secured the pieces together. Next, I'm gonna add a light layer of moss to the top, and then I'm gonna tack it in place with a few more of those floral pins. The moss will cover up the foam, so when you've got your flowers, when you're putting your flowers in, if there's any gaps, it will cover up the foam and you won't be able to see it from the top. Next, I'm gonna place in my succulents. I'm just gonna take the top of the succulent and wiggle it out of the pot, and it will come right out. And you're left with about a 2-inch stem, which is the perfect length to put right inside of my container. Now, after I put in my succulents in, I'm just gonna put them in random spots. I don't really wanna put them in a line. I just kinda wanna put them in organically. After that, I'm going to cut my stems of the white roses. I'll cut those really short, so they're about a 2-inch long piece, which is long enough to stick them inside of my arrangement without having them stick up too high. Now, again, I'm going to just be putting them in random areas throughout my container. That way it has a great flow to it and it doesn't look too arranged. And that was it for this arrangement. Wasn't that so easy? One thing that I really love about this arrangement is the monochromatic feel that it has with the white roses and the white container. That way it can fit in really nicely with your existing decor. I think that it still exudes Valentine's with a subdued and classy feel. My second flower arrangement is a classic Valentine's flower arrangement with red roses. Now, I used a glass Dollar Tree container and I filled the entire thing up with floral foam. The reason why I did this is because I have just done the top before, and as I put in the roses or the flowers or whatever arrangement that I'm doing, the foam gets pushed down and then you have to pull everything out and it's such a headache and you have to start over again. So we're just gonna start by filling the entire thing up with foam. Now, after it's filled with foam, I'm going to take some ribbons, some red ribbons. I'm going to wrap it around the container because I don't want to see the foam, and the red really just ties in the red roses. I'll get some hot glue and I will glue the ribbon directly to the vase, and I will wrap it around, and then I will hot glue the ribbon to itself again. To break up all of this red ribbon, I decided to add some wooden hearts to the center. I got these wooden stickers at the Dollar Tree, and I just peeled off the back sticker off of it. I added the large white one first. I just put a little dab of hot glue on the back of it and placed it right in the center of my vase. And then I got a smaller red sparkly heart, and I did the exact same thing. I got some hot glued a little bit onto it and stuck it into the center of the larger heart. Now that my container is prepped with foam and has the beautiful ribbons and hearts on it, it's ready for the flowers. Again, these roses are from the Dollar Tree, and I got some wire cutters and I cut the stems off of the bouquet. I left the stems really long because I could push them in as far as I wanted to, so it's better to have too much stem than not enough. I just put the flowers in, the roses in my container just randomly. I first started with my taller ones, so I put about 5 to 6 around the perimeter and at the top just to kind of give me a basic shape. And then I went back and I filled it in with the other red roses. Once I had all of my roses in kind of a cone shape, I had a few gaps, and so I wanted to fill those in. I first started with some blooming branches. Again, they were from the Dollar Tree, and the white little blooms on it added a nice contrast in color and texture. And then I added some red berries. Now, these red berries were actually from the winter selection of the Dollar Tree florals, and so they are going to we're going to cross-utilize them today. That's what we're going to do. And they're going to be in our beautiful Valentine's flower arrangement, which will again add a nice bit of texture and contrast to our arrangement. And that was it for this flower arrangement. Another super easy DIY Valentine floral arrangement. I found this love arrow sign at Michael's. I hot glued some wooden skewers to the back of my love sign so I could securely place it inside of my vase, which has some floral foam inside. And then around the floral foam, I placed some pink and red shredded paper. After hot gluing the skewers to the back, I took some cardstock hearts and punched a hole in them. Next, I threaded some fishing line through the hole and tied the hearts to my sign. I hung the hearts at varying lengths for extra interest. This arrangement is a bright and dramatic focal point. I purchased these mini red trellises at Hobby Lobby, and then I found some little heart battery operated lights at the Dollar Tree. I wrapped the lights around my trellis and I secured it with fishing line. In the bottom vase, I added the same pink and red shredded paper and tucked in a few cardstock hearts along the trellis. To add extra height, I'm taking these ceramic bowls, I'm going to flip them over, and then I'm going to place my trellis on top. Adding one to each side of my centerpiece creates a cohesive flow that draws your eye from one end of the table to the other. I found these cute chalkboard signs in the dollar spot at Target. I wrote some fun little sayings on it, and I'm going to put it on my table. For an added pop of color, I'm going to add some red ornaments and a variety of hearts, and then I'm going to scatter them along my runner. Adding the ornaments and hearts bring in vibrant pops of color, shine, and texture. They also fill in vacant spaces and add a feeling of plentiful abundance. Gold geometric candle holders provide a touch of warmth and elegance. These gold texture chargers are the perfect backdrop for my bright white plates, which I center directly on top of my chargers. For a lavish touch, I'm adding 2 glass goblets, one sleek and one with cut glass for a formal feeling. Lastly, I'll evenly place the silverware on either side of my place setting. Instead of using a napkin ring, we're going to fold these napkins into an envelope. Take your cloth napkin and fold it to make a smaller square. Turn it on a diagonal and fold the sides into the center. Next, bring the bottom corner to the center and then fold the top corner to the center. Just like that, you have a unique way to display your napkin that is tailor-made for Valentine's. Inside of each envelope, I'm going to tuck in a little Valentine message. After closing my napkin envelope, I'm placing a Hershey Kiss on top to weigh down the napkin so it won't unfold. Next, I'm going to sprinkle some Hershey Kisses and some conversation hearts along the runner. This does double duty. Not only does it act as decor, but it can be a pre or post snack for your guests. The final step is to light the candles for that extra glow, warmth, and ambiance. Our Valentine's table is complete. This table setting exceeded my expectations, and I'm overjoyed with the way it all came together. The first thing we're going to do is gather our Valentine's favorite treats or small items that will fit into a cupcake liner. The Valentines I'm choosing today are my husband and my twin boys, and they love all things chocolate. So I have a variety of chocolate items along with a few salty things like some popcorn, some nuts, and a few chocolate covered pretzels. There is such a wide variety of boxes out right now, from heart-shaped boxes to mailbox-shaped boxes. I found a 6-pack of gold and red boxes at Target. You can also find a package of 3 at the Dollar Tree, just plain white ones, and any of these will work. If you have some that are laying around the house and you want to make them a little more festive, all you have to do is get some wrapping paper and wrap them up. That's what I did with this box right here. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put some tissue paper in my box. On top of the tissue paper, I'll put some shredded paper, and then I'm going to tuck in my cupcake liners inside so they won't move around. It also adds a bright pop of color. Now that our cupcake liners are securely in our box, it's time to add the good stuff. Now is the time to get creative. You can add a variety of edible treats, some small toys for a child, a necklace, bracelet, or earrings for your gal, a tie-tack, keychain, or cufflinks for the fellas. The more personal items you add to your box, the more unique to your Valentine it becomes. In my second box, I'm adding a heart-shaped ceramic bowl filled with kisses. Next, I have a pair of pink and white socks that I'll roll up and place into my cupcake liner. Then I'll fill in the remaining spaces with a delicious assortment of sweets. I'm going to top off my box with another piece of tissue paper. If you're worried about your candy spilling out, you can also put it in a cellophane bag or some small Ziploc bags and then put it in your cupcake liner. Now it's time to decorate our boxes. I'm going to show you how to make this amazing accordion heart. Trace and cut out a circle on a piece of cardstock, wrapping paper, or even tissue paper. Your finished heart will end up being roughly half the size of the circle you cut out. Fold the circle in half so you get a center guide. At one end of the circle, begin folding approximately 1/8 inch strips, alternating between front and back. Continue folding until you've reached the center line of your circle. Repeat the folding process on the other side of your circle until you've again reached the center. When you're finished folding, press the strips together so your lines are sharp and crisp. Next, fold your paper in half to create the heart shape. Then I hot glued the center edges together to form my heart. Finally, press it together one last time for crisp lines. This heart will be a unique and special addition to my Valentine box. After hot gluing the accordion heart to the box, I'll top it off with my cardstock heart. Layering textures, sizes, and colors add that extra wow you want to impress your special Valentine. A gorgeous personalized gift box will cover all of your Valentine gifting needs. No matter your budget, creativity, or time frame, you can pull together a memorable token of love for those special people in your life that you care deeply about.